Good morning. Welcome back to today's vlog. Today I have lots of exciting back to school things to share with y'all. Some of the things that I am doing to simplify our back to school routine, not just our mornings easier, but I guess life easier in general and more pleasant. You know, I'm all about the atmosphere in the home. I think it matters a lot. So speaking of atmosphere, the first thing that we are doing this morning is making a fall simmer pot. I love to make simmer pots on the stove. This is something I remember my own mom doing all throughout my childhood. And I love that it's, become kind of a popular thing that people like to do because I've been doing it for years. And so in this fall simmer pot, we are just going to be I'll put the recipe down below in the description box for you, but it's just orange and lemon, bay leaves, cinnamon, whole cloves, an apple, and I think that's it. I think that's everything. I'll put the whole recipe down below just in case I forget. Oh, rosemary. Yes, rosemary. In case I forget anything, I'll put that all down there. And then you just cover it and turn the heat to medium to kind of let it all really get warm. And then after it's gotten warm, you remove the lid, turn it back to low, and let it just simmer out for the day. And it makes your whole house smell like fall. Now, we are also going to be making some freezer breakfast meals, basically some things that my kids can grab in the morning. Obviously, we're homeschool, so we don't have to rush out the door to school. But it's still really nice to have a sort of hot breakfast for my kids that they can pop in the microwave or in the toaster and warm up for themselves. And they're getting something other than cereal and stuff like that. So my boys especially, they are carnivores. They like their meat and their breakfast. So I'm going to be making some breakfast sandwiches and also some breakfast burritos. So we're starting with the breakfast sandwiches, and it requires, I'll put all the details to the recipes down below so that you don't miss anything and I don't forget to tell you about something. But I'm also kind of dual making these. I'm working on both the burritos and the sandwiches at the same time. And you can use whatever kind of, meat. The burritos are really best with ground sausage. But as far as the sandwiches go, I am using Canadian bacon for mine, but you can absolutely use sausage patties or anything like that you want. Strips of bacon, doesn't matter. Up to you. And then while my sausage is resting and my eggs are baking to use those for the sandwiches, the other thing that I am working on really simplifying and getting more into a routine is the kids' wardrobes. I like to start with a donation basket and a trash bag. I see if any of my friends, if my sister, if any of her kids can use any of the clothing that we have that doesn't fit anymore. Sometimes I can pass it down to someone I know, but if I can't, then it just goes to, a local place for donation. And then sometimes I just have to throw items away because the kids are really hard on their clothes. All of my kids are really hard on their clothes. So some things don't make it ever to donation, but one of my other sort of tips and pieces of advice is, and this is something I feel like I have talked about for years, is to have your child's wardrobe be things that you can really mix and match. If you stay within a color palette for kids and make things easy, then that's actually less help you have to give them getting dressed because they can grab something and they're likely to look decent because it's within the color palette that you've chosen. And so likely all of those colors go together in some kind of a way. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's vlog, which is Nike. I love that they make it so easy to mix and match for my kids for back to school stuff. My kids love comfy, sporty kind of clothes. Comfort is number one for them. And as much as I care about comfort too, obviously, for me, it's really about their ability to get dressed in the morning with as little help from me as possible. Autonomy is kind of the name of the game in this house. We really want everybody to be able to get dressed with as little help from mom and dad as possible. So I love that with all of the mix and match and colorful options. My boys are such sneakerheads. They love getting to pick a new pair of sneakers for back to school. And I love that there's so many different options that we can just mix and match, and it makes it so easy for them to, again, start to take control of things like getting dressed every every day. And it takes just another little thing off my plate and makes our mornings run so much smoother. And then if you've got like a fashionista kind of kid like I do, Jonah, this is my fashionista kid. He loves a good pair of sneakers, mix and matching, bright colors. I just love that I can find multiple items that all just kind of go, and then he can go grab things out of his drawer, dress himself, feel stylish, feel cool. And I know that everything at least kind of coordinates and goes. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box for you guys to check out Nike's back to school page on their website, because they have so many awesome deals right now. There's some really good discounts, and it's a great place to find clothes for your kids for back to school. I will also put a link for you to go check out my LTK page, where I will link some of our favorites and our picks for back to school, so you can kind of see the stuff that we are loving as well. And of course, if we make it easy for our kids to get dressed by themselves in the morning, ultimately, it's easier for you too. And now we are going to get back to our breakfasts, our pre-made breakfasts. I am just breaking open my English muffins here. These are going to be for the breakfast sandwiches, and I am going to go ahead and toast them. You don't have to do that. You can just assemble the sandwiches and put them in the freezer, but I feel like I like English muffins when they're like a little crispy on both sides as well. Plus, it'll just kind of helps everything come together nicely. So I am just going to put some butter in a pan and kind of toast the inside and the outside of the English muffins. And you just want to start layering them up, adding some cheese, and then that egg mixture that you baked. You just cut those into squares. It makes, 12 squares if you use, I think that's a 9x8 pan, maybe no, it's not 9x13. I don't remember, but you can make 12 squares from a general baking dish, and then assemble your sandwiches. And of course you could just go ahead and eat them. I mean, you don't have to freeze them, but the purpose of all this is to make our mornings faster and easier. I'm going to stack all mine up. Now, CR and the boys are heading out to run some errands and get some supplies, because Christopher is building me a clothesline outside. I'm very excited about that. So I was packing them up some breakfast sandwiches to take with them to Home Depot to get the supplies they need for the laundry line. And then the rest of them, listen, I'm not an expert at wrapping sandwiches. I probably wasted way too much tin foil doing this. There's probably a better way. I need to learn it. I don't know it. So wrap them in foil. And then you can just pop them in the freezer. I like to write the instructions on the outside of the Ziploc bags, because people will forget. So moving back to the breakfast burritos, for these, we're going to drain a can of Rotel, get as much of the liquid out, add that to the sausages, to the sausage, the ground sausage. And then you're going to take about 16 eggs, add some half and half. Again, I'll put the exact measurements down below in the description box. Salt, pepper, whip that up, and you're going to cook that right in the same pan that you made the sausage mixture in, the sausage and Rotel. You're just going to pop the eggs in there and scramble those babies up, and then mix everything together. And that's going to be the majority of your filling for your breakfast burritos. So you just want to mix all that up, break up the big chunks of egg, make sure it all just kind of blends evenly and nicely together, and then set up your little like assembly line for the breakfast burritos. You're going to put in a few of those toasted tater tots, add some cheese. Now you should use the large tortillas. I only had these smaller ones, and they were very hard to roll up and make stay together. So you should be putting like 4 or 5 tater tots in, but I could only do 3 and get that a little bit enough of the like egg and sausage mixture in there, a little bit of cheddar cheese on top, and then roll that baby up. You want to bake these. Even if you're going to freeze them, you're going to go ahead and bake them. So you're going to put them on a large baking sheet, and you want to put a little bit of space in between each one. Like I said, I would highly recommend using the larger size tortillas than this. It will make this much easier for you. This was a bit of a exercise in futility for me, but you want to get all those filled, and then after you get them all assembled and onto the baking sheet, you can put some cooking spray on top of it, or like put take a brush and put some like oil, some olive oil on top of it, just to give it something to brown up the outside of the burritos and make them kind of like crunchy a little bit on the outside. And you're going to pop them in the oven. Again, check the description box, but it's about 400 degrees for like 18 to 20 minutes. It just kind of depends, but you want to pop them in there and let them cook. And then once they are done cooking, obviously you can eat them right away. But if you're not going to eat them right away, you want to set them to the side and let them cool completely. As you can see, I wrote down the instructions on the outside of the Ziploc bag for the breakfast sandwiches. And then I will do the same thing as well for the burritos. And the burritos will also get wrapped in individual tin foil so that my kids can just open the freezer, grab a sandwich, grab a burrito, wrap it in a napkin, pop it in the microwave, and away they go. So yeah, I actually did a few. You can see my messy kitchen. I never said this meal prep stuff wasn't going to be messy. But yeah, I made a lot of breakfast burritos. So hopefully they will eat these and it will make my mornings and breakfast time go much smoother. The other thing that I wanted to show y'all, and I need to get the full basket out because I kind of have like 2 get ready in the morning baskets. In the next video, I'm going to share some other things. So I will also share more of the like morning basket that I have pulled together for the kids. But it's like, this is sort of my travel temp one where I keep all of the hair care supplies and everything so that I can kind of set the kids up in an assembly line while they're eating breakfast and do everybody's hair. Well, the people who need me to do their hair. And then while I was outside, I saw that Shelby was grooming Jessie. We got her a groomer's table and some like legit grooming supplies. And so she has been giving Jessie a legitimate groom. As you can see, Jessie is, she's tolerating it, but she's not happy. However, she needs it. Taking dogs to the groomers gets expensive, and my girls have many talents. So here's Jessie after with her fresh haircut. I think she looks beautiful. My request was that she keep her goatee longer. Sometimes when I take her to the groomers, they cut it too short, and I like her to have that longer goatee. So that's it for today's video. I hope that I will see y'all again in the next one. Bye.